Picture a world where you cannot trust anybody, not your lover, not your friends, and not even your parents. If you slightly push your luck, you can end in the stomach of a monster. On tops, there is a corrupt system that preaches and promises the safety of people, but it only cares about itself. This, my friends, is the mysterious and gory world of Claymore. This manga to me is a masterpiece, and I got to know it like many other people did. I was searching for mangas like Berserk. Very quickly, if you don't know what Berserk is, first of all, it's one of the best mangas ever made, and it is basically the father of the dark fantasy genre. It was written and illustrated by the genius Kentaro Miura. By the way, rest in peace, master. In the future, I'll definitely make a video to honor the grand manga author and artist that Miura-sensei was, and how he impacted not only the manga industry, but also world trends and the fundamentals of entertainment. So if you want to stay tuned, subscribe and leave a like. But okay, Claymore is a dark fantasy manga, so interesting and well made that it's even compared to the trailblazer Berserk. That is because both worlds represent a raw reality where you eat or get eaten. It is raw, it is dark, and of course, it is pretty cool. Like, look at these panels, oh my god. It's just pure thrill, you know? Berserk definitely is the GOAT, but Claymore is not far behind. I even like to put them on the same shelf as the peak dark fantasy mangas they are. And guys, don't get me wrong, this video's main purpose is not to compare Claymore to any other manga, but to praise it as it is, a well-built universe with a mysterious plot and ominous characters. I'll give minor spoilers in this video, as I believe you should experience this manga without knowing much about it. I'll cover the story basically until chapter 24, but like, it is a finished series and we have around 160 chapters, so we'll have a lot of content to read by yourself. Claymore is a manga written and illustrated by the genius Norihiro Yagi. It debuted in Shueisha's shonen manga magazine Monthly Shonen Jump in June 2001, where it continued until the magazine was shut down in June 2007. The series was transferred to the newly launched Jump Square, serialized from November 2007 to October 2014. Its chapters were collected in 27 volumes. So first things first, let's get to understand the world we're tossed in, the world of Claymore. In the universe of Claymore, humanity is constantly threatened by monstrous creatures called Yoma. Yoma are shape-shifting beings that can disguise themselves as humans to blend into society. They typically feed on human flesh and blood, and they possess immense strength, speed, and self-healing abilities, making them formidable creatures. Yoma are often depicted as grotesque and terrifying beasts, with their true forms being monstrous and inhuman. They are driven by an insatiable hunger for human flesh and are known to terrorize villages and towns, causing fear and devastation wherever they go. So yeah, being set in a medieval-like world with these bad boys to worry about tell us only one thing: being human in this show sucks ass. Just like on Attack on Titan or Tokyo Go, for example. If you're a mere human, boy oh boy. We have medieval-like towns and villages scattered across landscapes plagued by Yoma infestations. Society is gripped by fear and paranoia, with humans living in constant dread of Yoma attacks. You never know who they can be. But fear not, folks, cause we have a special task force to deal with these creatures. To combat the Yoma threat, there's an organization called the Organization. Who could have guessed, yeah? But don't let your guard down, because what this organization lacks in creativity, they exceed in power and control. Said organization creates warriors called Claymore.
Mom, he said the name of the show!
That's right. These warriors are actually half human, half Yoma, and they possess the abilities of the monsters but retain their human consciousness. They are tasked with hunting down and exterminating all Yoma to protect humanity from their predators. And of course, at a cost. Claymores only act when paid by the villages. There are no free meals in this universe, my friends. You gotta pay. A concept that is explained a little further ahead is the motive why all Claymores are women. But long story short, for you to get Yoma's powers, you need to go through a hard and painful surgery. After that, you need to learn how to control your temper, because once you try using all your powers, you actually become a full, uncontrollable Yoma. The organization tried making male Claymores before, but all men would go from 0% to 100 so fast that it was impossible to control them. So that's why they stopped trying with males and committed fully to females. So yeah, it's pretty hard to see a dark fantasy manga where women are the most powerful fighters, so this is a wonderful breath of fresh air. Claymores have a hierarchy to be followed. From rank 1 to 47, their positions equals to how strong they are and the length of their powers. Remember that they are half yomas, so if they use too much power, they risk losing their consciousness and become complete yomas, resulting in their eventual death by the hands of their colleagues. Oh, and save this next info for later, but claymores cannot under any circumstance kill humans. If this rule is broken, well, they'll send other claymores to execute their foe. The organization holds the power of telling the claymores what to do. You really can't mess with these guys. So that's primarily all the basic info on Claymore's world building. Now that we're more familiar, let's start the real story. The story begins with a desperate village seeking help to deal with Yoma, showing its chief receiving a reply from
the organization,
explaining they will send a Claymore very soon to eradicate any Yoma around. Said Claymore is none other than our heroine, ranked 47, the lowest rank possible. And at this point, it's pretty curious how everyone in the village reacts to that info. It's like everybody's afraid of Claymores, even knowing that they will protect the village with the right price. Well, to be fair, Claymores are pretty scary, so in times that information is so rare and precious, it makes sense that everybody is on the back foot. You never know, right? We are then presented to Raki, a young man that wants to get stronger, as his parents were wiped by Yoma in the past, leaving him and his brother by themselves. The protagonist arrives at the small town, and the villagers react in a tense way, as they've never seen a Claymore before, but they can feel that that woman is definitely not normal. The only person that reacts in a somewhat positive way is Raki. He even tells her that she's prettier than the girls around there. Well, after his Riz techniques fail and our protagonist ignore his approach, he starts following her, making it clear that he's very interested in how strong she is. They talk for a bit, and the Claymore gets to know that Raki's parents were the first killed by the monsters in that village. He then asks her name, but she doesn't think it is worth to tell him, as he will eventually forget about her. After that, he rushes home because it is late and he needs to fix dinner for his brother and uncle.
Sorry I'm late, Uncle. I'll start making dinner right away. I'll be done in just a...
Huh? Raki, seeing his uncle dead on the floor, panics and tries to talk to his brother. But then...
Yes, he's delicious. His guts were superb.
That's right, that was not his brother. That, my friends, was a Yoma. Raki tries to punch the creature, but it is impossible. Yomas are just way stronger than humans. This is the end of the line to Raki. There's nothing he can do. But then, the Claymore shows up from nowhere, she misses the Yoma, and a fight takes place at that house. The Yoma tries using Raki as a meat shield, and in an epic scene, she slices and dices the monster in seconds, protecting Raki and the village, but leaving the boy in a state of shock. The dude actually stays in the same position for several hours, showing that this job is definitely not made for everybody. After a couple of hours, Raki comes to his senses and runs outside the village to talk with our main protagonist. He starts screaming while opening up about everything he was feeling, being honest about his fears, and that he's fed up with pretending. He will never forget the warrior that killed the monsters that slaughtered his family, showing true gratefulness and once again asking for the woman's name.
そうだ、名前。ねえお姉ちゃん、名前教えてよ。ねえ。クレアだ。クレア。
And boom! End of chapter 1. What a crazy first chapter, right? But don't worry, there's more for you, my beloved viewer, as the best part of this story is slightly ahead of us, more precisely on chapter 12. Up to chapter 11, we get to see with more details how Claire fights and that she is a menace. But it is on chapter 12 that this manga really blows up your mind. If you want to read this part by yourself, don't worry, I will understand for sure. Just come back to this video after chapter 24 and tell me your impressions on the comment section, cause it hits really hard. So let me tell you about Teresa, the most base character in this whole series. I'll cover from chapter 12 to 24, but I highly advise you to read the manga from the start, as some details will not make to the video. Okay, so chapter 12 starts with an interesting scene, a claymore piercing Ayoma's head. But that claymore has long hair. That is actually Teresa, who is known by her nickname, Teresa of the Faint Smile. The strongest creature to ever live, the claymore ranked number 1 of her generation, simply the GOAT of Claymore's universe. Teresa, while going from village to village slaying any Yoma that showed up, ends up saving a child that was being used as a meat shield by one of the monsters. The little girl, after being saved, grabs Teresa's clothes as trying to stay close to her. Teresa then kicks the kid to the ground, and I know guys, claymores are assholes, but remember, they basically don't feel regular emotions and naturally don't care about others. Apparently that kid is an outsider and doesn't know how to talk, she's covered in scars and always have the same expression. The kid tries reaching for Teresa's leg once more, and Teresa kicks her again to the ground, warning her, but the kid does not care, being kicked to the ground a third and last time. The kid then follows Teresa to the forest and a group of bandits try ambushing them, but they get frustrated by the claymore. Teresa then tells the girl that she cannot babysit her, as claymores are monsters, but the little girl does not care. She wants to stay close to her, even if she dies trying. The ruthless Claymore, after spending some time with the girl, starts to finally enjoy the situation, even if just a little. She does not understand the kid, but she knows that she has a good heart. She even smiles in one of the panels, which is something extremely rare for a creature like Teresa. Teresa decides to give that kid a name, as she didn't have one. She gives the girl the name Claire, the goddess of love. And that's right, this is Claire, the main character of this manga. This was a flashback all along, and we get to understand more of her background and how everything came to be. It's a pretty emotional scene, but the author does not give a damn, as we see from afar one of the bandits looking for revenge for the other night. The girls connect more and more, to the point that Claire starts talking, and from that point onward, this duo really starts caring about each other. But of course, things cannot stay smooth like that, right, Yagi-sensei? Teresa leaves Claire in a near city so that she can live a normal life with normal humans, but right after that, the same criminals from before arrive and pillage the town, killing every man and capturing every woman. One of these women being Claire. Teresa then, seeing those filthy men hurting Claire, decides to act.
覚悟しろ貴様ら。妖魔以下の存在であるその身を呪うがいい。お前ら全員皆殺しにしてやるよ。
She then massacres the bandits, showing to the organization that now was the time to put her down, as she killed humans. Teresa had it all, top 1 Claymore, the strongest creature alive, and now, because of one little girl that at first she didn't care, she tossed everything away. Everything to protect one single life. At that point, I believe that the author Norihiro Yagi tried to show us how Teresa of the Faint Smile was way more than a Yoma killer, way more than a Claymore. Teresa was a heroine. That, my friends, is how you build an interesting character. The most dangerous creature alive, at the end of the day, has one of the biggest hearts. I found a reason to live. From now on, I'm going to live for the girl. And she won't go down without a fight. After some time, the Claymores number 2 to 5 arrive and they have a clear mission: kill Teresa. Their fight is insane, but I'll skip the details, if not this video will have an hour. So Teresa humiliates the other Claymores. She's just too powerful. But then something weird happens. One of the Claymores start to push her Yoma powers to the limits, as she doesn't want Teresa to escape justice. Teresa tries to warn her, but Priscilla passed her limits. Priscilla then asks Teresa to kill her while she still has a glimpse of humanity. And while Teresa prepares to cut her head, Priscilla cuts Teresa's arms and then behead her. And that's how the legend of Teresa came to an end. Just like that, without honor, without understanding, and without closure. To me, that was a very poetic way for her to die. That summarizes a Claymore's life. You are born, you suffer, you fight, and you die. Simple and cold. After that, Priscilla becomes a different type of Yoma, one never seen before. She becomes an awakened Yoma. Her powers get to the level that she kills all the other Claymores in a blink of an eye, leaving Claire to tell the story, as her existence was nothing more to her than a stone by the side of the road. I couldn't even hate the beast that killed Teresa. It was myself, overcome by fear, that I couldn't forgive. I don't recall how I lived on after that. And that's how I became the first person ever to knock on the organization's door of her own free will. This manga is not about the world of Claymore. It is not even about Claire herself. This story is a story of vengeance. If you want to know if Claire is able to climb the Claymore ranks, if she will find Priscilla and take her down, and if the organization will eventually collapse, you gotta read this masterpiece by yourself. If you liked what you saw here, give it a shot. The manga is much better than this video. Thanks a lot for watching, leave a like and subscribe for more, keep protecting who you love, keep believing in yourself, and of course, keep reading manga. Bye!